Welcome back to another Power Hour Speed Clean and Organise with me. I am Ree from mummyof4.com, and while my children appear to be playing quite nicely in the living room today, I am going to take this opportunity to do a job that has really needed doing for quite some time. I'm going to organise our food pantry. And then once I've done that, if we've got some spare time, I'm going to get some cleaning in the kitchen and dining room done. So let's start by emptying out the pantry. I'm going to need this stool because at 5'4" I'm vertically challenged. I cannot reach the top shelf otherwise. It's a little fold away stool. I've actually got one upstairs for reaching high up in the wardrobes and things, and one downstairs for doing things like this in the kitchen, reaching up the high shelves, and also high up in my laundry room. And we've also got a cupboard in the hall. There's like a high cupboard in there where I store cleaning supplies like the way of the children, and I need the stool for that too. So this pantry, it's organised into baskets. I used organised in the looser sense of the word, in that initially when we moved in, everything was organised, and with things in baskets, as you can see, it makes it quite easy to pull everything out and to sort it. And the best way to do it is to do this quite frequently, and you can just take out one basket, sort it through and put it back neatly. But I have been neglecting the organising and the stock rotation of this cupboard, if I'm honest, and it's all become a bit haphazard, messy. So things like the heaviest things are not currently at the bottom of the cupboards, and some of the lighter things are in the bottom shelves, which is a bit silly. And then, so I want to make sure that the heaviest things are obviously lower down, so if they were to fall, then they've not got as far to fall, they're less likely to smash tiles. But also I want to make sure that we're throwing out things that are out of date, or using things up that are about to go out of date. As you can see, that cupboard must have been a TARDIS and or Mary Poppins handbag, because look at the amount of stuff that's come out of it. The whole place is covered in stuff, so it's quite a big cupboard, which is great. We were originally, when we bought the kitchen, going to go for one of those pull-out units, yeah, you know, like on a trolley, but we decided to go for just this cupboard. A, because it was cheaper to do that, and B, because you can physically fit more in when it's just an empty cupboard than if it's a pull-out. So I'm starting off by spraying and wiping the shelves up high, and then working my way down. You'll find if you spray too much into cupboards, and I've made this mistake before, then the spray will leak down between the shelves and down the back of the walls of the cupboards, which is a bit of a pain. So just make sure you don't do what I have done in the past and go a bit mad with the spray. So to avoid that mistake, you can just spray onto the cloth and then you don't get too excessive, or you can just not go mad with it, which is just tempting. I don't know, I'm always the kind of person that goes a bit mad with the spray, as you can see here. I've done it here again, haven't I? And then I'm always like, why am I using so much? Stop it, Ree. There's no need. A little bit goes a long way. So as you can probably tell from looking at it, this is quite a deep cupboard, and without baskets, you end up filling the cupboard full. You can't get at the stuff in the back, whereas if everything's in a basket, you can just pull out the front basket and access the stuff at the back. So as you can probably tell, I'm a massive advocate for baskets, huge advocate for them. I'm not sponsored by baskets as a category of organisation, but I do feel quite strongly about them, clearly. They make life so much easier. Anyway, we're going to keep cleaning this cupboard. It's not something I've done. I can't remember the last time I did this, a proper full on clear out the cupboard. I've done like quick little wipeouts of one shelf at a time. I've gone to fetch a bit of magic eraser. There it is, magic eraser to get off that stain. Do you know why there's a stain there? Because something was put in the cupboard directly without a basket. Anyway, that's why it's a good idea to have baskets, because even a tiny little item left there made a mess. So as you can see, we've got a big old mess all over my kitchen now. Big old mess. So I'm going to start putting things back. So these canisters I really love. They're quite pretty, so if they are left out every now and again, then it doesn't matter. They don't offend me on the worktops, but I love to keep the worktops as clear as possible for a few reasons. First of all, we don't have masses and masses of counter space. So by having nice clear counters, it's easier to cook and things because we have more space. Where have I gone? I've gone to fetch a basket of crisps. Anyway, so we have more counter space to utilize for cooking and things. It's generally easier without too much stuff on the counters, hence why I like to put as many canisters and things in the cupboard. Secondly, it's easier to clean because the less there is on the counter, the less you've got to move to wipe. And the third is, I genuinely believe that clutter attracts clutter, and the more stuff you've got out, the more likely your family are to add more stuff to the stuff. So if the whole kitchen looked like this all the time, for example, if I just had stuff everywhere, my husband, my children would think nothing of adding more junk to it. Let's just look at the inside of that basket. Ugh, yuck, yuck, yuck. But at least that's easier to clean out than cleaning inside the cupboard. I am going to pledge to you now that I'm going to try and do this more often. I'm going to pull out a basket, sort through it, and put it back a bit more often, because leaving it until I haven't done it for ages, I've got to do the whole cupboard, a bit more of a pain in the backside. Anyway, if I constantly had stuff everywhere, and I've been like this before in the last house, we've been through phases where we just had too much clutter. Honestly, everyone just dumps more stuff with it. Clutter attracts more clutter. Bits of papers, unopened mail, stuff from school, toys, just junk, just attracts to it. So the clearer I keep the surfaces, the more respectful everyone seems to be of keeping the surfaces clear, and the more obvious it is. So if you dump junk on an empty surface, then generally it's like, okay, I've clearly just messed this up. You know, this is what goes on in the back of people's minds, in theory. But adding clutter to more clutter, just no one minds doing that, in my family at least. So I'm now going through jars and things, and I'm going to have a bit of a rejig. So previously I had some light-ish things for some reason on the bottom shelf, which is silly. So I'm now changing it, so if it is a glass jar or bottle or a can, then ideally it's on the very lower shelf or the one shelf up from that. And if it is lighter, like kind of gravy granules or anything that isn't going to smash and make a big old dent in the floor, in the tiles, and smash the tiles, then it can go higher up. So I'm now using my new planner. Now, at the point of recording the voiceover for this chatty little speed clean with me, my planner is not yet released. I've been developing it. I guess I have to say don't I? Because I'm launching this planner myself. It's my own product. But basically, I've got a new planner coming out. And in this planner, some of the pages include meal planning. And part of my meal planning, if you have seen my meal planning video, is looking at what you've currently got in stock. So what you can see me doing at the moment, I am writing lists of what I've currently got in stock, and then I know what I need to use up. So on my meal planner, which is within my other planner, which comes in 3 formats, by the way. Well, it's technically 2 formats. It's digital to print and digital to fill in on your iPad, like I'm doing in this video. And then there's just printed. So I will put the details for the planner, the page for the planner, down in the description, and you can go and check out that URL and see if it is live at the stage you're watching this video. So hopefully, maybe by the time you're watching it, it is live, and not necessarily at the time when the video goes live, but obviously if you're watching this anytime in the future, then chances are the planner's live. But I'm basically like to have a look at what we've got in stock. And the reason this is difficult if your cupboards aren't organised is you end up not seeing what you've got. And if you can't see what you've got, you don't know what you need to move around stock-wise. You don't know what you need to use up. So as I'm organising the cupboard, I'm writing a list of all the things I've got in stock that I need to use up. And then I know I can base meals on my meal planner for the following week around those things. And then I know what I've got left to buy. And if you don't do this, and there have been many times where I have shopped without checking stock first. If you shop without checking stock first, you end up doubling up on things and ultimately wasting money. So on the weeks where I've been a bit naughty and I've been like, I'll just do it from memory, I have inevitably doubled up on what I've been buying, which is really silly. It's really, really silly because it's just a waste of money. So by organising my pantry, I'm not only giving it a bit of a clean, which I'm telling you it did need, inside of the baskets especially, some of them were a bit ugh, but I'm also looking at what needs to be used up in which order, because some things are very near the end of their dates. I found one or two things, I am ashamed to say, that have just gone past their dates, I've not used up because the cupboard was a mess. Then I couldn't find all the things I needed because things weren't with like things. So for example, I'd have like you can see several Bisto things in that cupboard there. That's because I ended up buying multiple ones of them, and whoever put them away hadn't put them all in the same place, in the same category. They'd been dumped in different parts of the cupboard. So I might have thought I had none of something, but actually I had 3 of them just dotted in different places of the cupboard. So I've now got on a shelf that the children can reach snacks that they can grab to pack for themselves in the morning to eat during and after school, because they do take a snack that they have to take for during the school day for break time, and also a separate snack that they eat at lunchtime. So now doing a bit of a rearrange, putting the crisps a bit lower down. I quite often find organisation isn't necessarily a linear process. Sometimes you have to kind of wiggle things around, a bit sort of trial and error to see what fits, what doesn't fit. You'll often see me in these videos putting things back in a drawer or a cupboard, realising, nope, that's not going to work, pulling it all out and swapping it back round again. And it's only sort of by trying it out in different ways that you're going to figure out what works. So this cupboard is 2 of these baskets deep, of those small baskets, which is great. So I can pull them out, access the stuff at the back. And some of the shelves are kind of set because you can change the height of your shelves around. It's worth noting that. Then lots of shelves can be quite easily changed. But most of these are designed to be kind of 1 basket high, and then I've got a couple of them taller for, you know, the squash and things like that. And then the stuff up high, I sort of struggle to reach, is the stuff that I need occasionally, because if it's something I'm going to use on a daily basis, I don't want to have to run and get the stool every time I need to find something. And one of the kind of big light bulb moments I think I had when I moved to the house we're currently in is that I was adamant when we had our new kitchen, I really wanted to make it really functional and organised nicely. As an aside, by the way, you can just see me now organising these cocktail sticks, which the packet had gone a bit manky, so I'm decanting them into a separate pot. Anyway, so when we moved from our old house, bit of a story time here, we had the dishwasher. I mean, let me know in the comments if you've seen any speed cleans or vlogs from our old house. It was 2.5 years ago we were there now, but if you're a bit of an OG, follower, subscriber, whatever, you may have seen them, or maybe you could go back and see old videos now. But anyway, the dishwasher was kind of in the middle of the kitchen. It was kind of a long kitchen, and then the plates went down the other end, which is insanity. Why wouldn't I just put the plates near the dishwasher? And then the plates were actually the opposite end of the kitchen from the dining table, so it's not like they were being moved in the right direction towards where we were even eating, which is silly, really, really silly. Anyway, the revelation for this kitchen is put things where you need them. Put things near to where you need them. So up high, things I don't need that much. So the top shelf, I've got like pasta that hasn't been decanted, and then backup pasta, backup rice, backup flour, that kind of stuff that isn't in containers. And then this is a shelf I can reach easily. The rice, the pasta, that kind of thing. The multicolour pasta. I love these canisters. I love them. They're brilliant. I've got this multicolored pasta, and then behind noodles, I think these might be cereal type containers, but they work quite well. Got a few of these dinner kits that I have arranged in use by order. So here's an example. I found a few of these oil spray things, but they weren't all put together. Some of them were dotted through the cupboard. I thought we didn't have much of it left. Turns out we had a lot. We've got this tropical squash. Incidentally, it's 4 times strength, so it's really got to remember when making that up, it's now 4 times strength, not double strength. So we've got a basket of crisps. That's just easy enough to pull out and have a look through. These are like vitamins and things. Found some of these little fruit pots for the children. And then these at the front are snacks that the children can access to pack into their school bags. We've got like crackers and things. This sort of like healthy-ish snacks. And then further back, things I'm not using as much, but can easily be pulled out if I need to get to them. Then in the next shelf down, before we go to the next shelf, we've got the cocktail sticks, which I'm just going to shove down the back there. Those are mostly used by my husband for picking something out of his teeth, randomly, to be honest. So now we have got some jars higher up, but the majority, especially the bigger jars, are lower down on that bottom shelf. And then I've got things like gravy granules that are not heavy on this shelf, and those are easy to pull out and to utilize. And I've just popped those down the side because it's actually 2 baskets and a little bit wide, this shelf. And then at the bottom, I've got more jars and things, these kind of cooking sauces and things for like easy school night teas. And then at the back, I have stacked some cans of beans and things, because obviously then they're not going to fall from there, are they? So I'm feeling a lot happier with the pantry now. I've done a bit of stock rotation. I've made my list in my planner of things I've got to use up. And I think that's going to be easier to stay on top of keeping tidy now. So that's the pantry done. Let's just shut that up. We'll shut the pantry away. I'm going to make the children some lunch. So they're going to eat their lunch here. They've done playing. They've decided they're hungry. They have left a lot of mess in the lounge, but they're going to go back to it after lunch. And I am going to clear up, having done them some sandwiches and things for lunch because they're home from school today. So, need another tea towel out. I'm going to empty the dishwasher. Now, the dishwasher it's just one of those jobs, isn't it? It's just never ending. A bit like the washing, actually. But for some reason, even if I set our dishwasher to there's a button you can leave it on to make everything dry, it doesn't really dry everything. Everything still comes out and needs to be kind of dried with a tea towel before it can be put away, as a rule. So I generally end up putting things out on a tea towel and then giving them a little wipe with a tea towel before putting them away, because otherwise I just envisaged things going kind of damp, mouldy and yucky in the cupboards. So let me know in the comments, does your dishwasher dry things? So like plates and things, maybe some have some drips on them, but all of the plastic stuff, it's not just a few drips, it's like literally soaking. So that's no good, is it? You've definitely got to dry all that stuff before putting it away. But I don't know, is this all dishwasher? Is it just our dishwasher? Should the dishwasher be finishing and leaving everything dry, or is this quite normal? Does this happen to everyone's dishwashers? Now, our dishwasher is a good few years old, but the conclusion I've come to with our dishwasher, at least, there you go, that's all done, and close the cupboards. But the conclusion I've come to is it's not worth the extra time or energy you end up wasting with the dishwasher to put it on the setting to dry things when it doesn't end up drying them properly anyway. So that's the cupboard done, and let's keep putting the rest of the stuff away. So I've got the rest of the plastic plates, my drink things, they're Sistema bottles. I like to fill those up and then I just leave them in the fridge, because then whenever I want really cold water that I either add one of my burst sachets to or top it up with squash or whatever, it's there and it's ready for me, and it's not a barrier to hydration, because let's face it, remembering to hydrate is just something we all need to do. It's something we often forget to do, so make it as easy as possible, I say. So the children are still chatting and eating their lunch. I'm putting the rest of the stuff away. Most of it's needing a little wipe, and then the plastic stuff's needing a lot of wiping. The plastic stuff is all just IKEA sort of kids picnic stuff. I still use it a lot if the children are snacking anywhere other than the table or outside or whatever. And I'm going to sort out the cutlery drawer a little bit, because when I put the cutlery drawer, you know, when I empty the dishwasher and put the cutlery away, the cutlery kind of goes hugging, spooning, I guess, each other, like in order. Anyone else puts the cutlery away after doing the dishwasher, it's just slung, kind of like thrown, you know. So do you put the spoons and forks in like that, kind of spooning, or do you just sling them in? Just sling them in. Let me know which one you do in your household. So that's the dishwasher. I think I'm done with the dishwasher now. The children are going to clear the table for me and bring their lunch dirties over to the dishwasher. We are working on moving towards putting things in the dishwasher and stacking it nicely and things, but you know, baby steps. So we're getting them to help clear the table. I am actually going to clear up the dining room, because I'm actually going to clean it properly now. But quite often I do get the children to help. So you can see there's lots of crumbs. Sometimes you wonder if they actually ate any food at all because of the amount of crumbs. But, you know, clearly they eat some. I'm wiping over the table. I get asked all the time about this table protector plastic cover thing. It's fantastic. I will link it below. But generally, I'm not doing it today because, as I said, I'm doing a bit of a clean up anyway, so just let them go and play. Generally, after a meal, I will give one of the three little ones a mini, we've got a handheld vacuum cleaner, and I will ask one of them, and they take it in turns, to vacuum under the table. Always so many crumbs. So I'm now using some of this Method Granite cleaner, which smells quite specifically like apple fizzy chewits. If you know, you know. I mean, I'm not sure they even sell those anymore, but that is the smell. It doesn't smell like apples, it smells like apple fizzy chewits. So I'm going to give this a good old wipe over with a microfiber cloth. I have a lot of microfiber cloths. I used to use so much kitchen roll, and then I bought some bumper packs of microfiber cloths and just washed them a lot. I've washed them on hot. Don't use any fabric softener with them, but if you wash them on 60, then it gets rid of all the germs and the bugs and the nasties. The fabric softener would make them less absorbent, so don't use that. And actually, the more you use a microfiber cloth, it's like a cloth nappy. Yes, years ago I used to use cloth nappies with my babies. I've got a whole series of that actually on my channel if you're ever thinking of doing that. But it's the same principle with cloths as cloth nappies. The more you use them, the better they become at becoming absorbent, as long as you don't use fabric softener. So we're going to start in the corner and give this a wipe over. We wipe over the kitchen where we actually cook every time we prepare food, obviously, but that corner sometimes is a bit of a corner that gets neglected and ends up somehow with loads of crumbs and gunk and dust in it, even if we're not using it. So obviously when you're making toast, then you're going to get a few crumbs, but sometimes that corner just becomes dirty and yucky in an unexplained way. So getting down the edge of the countertop, as you can see, we've not got a massive amount of countertop, which is why I like to keep it as clear as possible, and it just attracts less clutter. So I do have one or two things on there, but not that many. So we're now gonna get the big vacuum cleaner out. So I said normally after a meal we would grab the little handheld vacuum cleaner and just do the basics. Just do the basic of just look for crumbs and vacuum them up. But as I am trying to squeeze in this power hour and the children have gone back to playing quite nicely, I have got the big vacuum cleaner out. So I vacuum something every day, but I don't necessarily get the big vacuum cleaner out every day. I normally just see like some tumbleweed type yuckiness around the house and grab the handheld, or we use the handheld under the table. As you can see, there are quite a lot of crumbs there under the table, but I do get the children to help, and they actually love using the handheld vacuum cleaner. So if I just give them the handheld vacuum cleaner and ask one of them at a time to just do the crumbs under the table, whether they do an amazing, really thorough job or not, I'm not sure is the point of it. I think it's the fact that they are getting involved, they're taking some sort of responsibility and helping, and they actually enjoy using the vacuum cleaner. It's like a fun game for them. So it's all about just getting them involved, getting them to help out, and then obviously these big cleans really clean the most of the muck, but anything picked up at all by that handheld vacuum cleaner, let's face it, I can always go back over it later after they've gone to school, after they've gone to bed, but sometimes it's just really nice to get them involved, and they actually enjoy helping if you get them to help out at a young enough age and kind of make a game out of it. So that's the dining room vacuumed. Haven't been super thorough, you know, sometimes I like wipe all the skirting boards and do all the corners and up high and everything. I'm coming to the end of a power hour at this stage. I know the children are having fun and it's sort of behaving quite well and playing and things, but we have got things to do later today, and I know they're not going to be happy for much longer. So I'm just going to kind of use these last few minutes that I know I've got before I've got to move on and vacuum the kitchen. So let me know in the comments what you are going to clean in your next power hour. Click on the video on screen now and let's keep cleaning together.